Rural Fire Protection District Number 2, regular meeting dated October 25th, 2021 is called to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Forrest?
Present.
Mr. Ingraffia?
Present.
Mr. Joseph?
Present.
Mr. Bruno? Mr. Richtel? Mr. Mayhew? Mr. Wells?
Present.
Mr. Vial?
Here.
Mr. Hyde?
Here.
Ms. Hyde? Ms. Coates?
Here.
Okay, we do have a quorum. We hope that Mr. Mayhew's okay. Public input. Anyone wishing to address any agenda item? Hearing none. Adoption of minutes
So moved. Second.
dated 27 September 21. Mr. Vial made the motion. Second by Mr. Parker. Roll call.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mr. Ingraffia? Yes. Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno? Yes. Mr. Richtel?
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew? Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Motion passes and is so ordered. Hammond Fire Matters. Number 2, ratification of approval of part-time positions.
Yes, sir. The chief submitted his paperwork as 5 part-time positions. All his paperwork's in order at 5 part-time positions at $10 per hour.
5, you said, Dennis?
5.
Also move.
Motion by Mr. Vial,
Second.
second by Mrs. Hyde. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ingraffia? Yes. Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno? Yes. Mr. Richtel?
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew? Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Motion passes and is so ordered. Ponchatoula Fire Matters. Approval to transfer assets to Hudson Fire Department.
All right, so what this is Ponchatoula is surplusing this truck. It is a 1998 Chevy brush truck. Just so happens Husser was looking for one. So they are transferring the truck to Husser, from Ponchatoula to Husser, for $1,200.
This says 25.
Yeah, it says 2,500.
I'm sorry, 2,500.
Hey, he'll take it for
You're
12.
right, I'm sorry, 2,500.
Man.
He
I was
tried.
trying to give him a deal.
He tried. He tried. He tried.
I was trying to get you a deal. I'm sorry, it's $2,500.
Okay.
The inventory tag number for the truck is 3680, and the truck also has a portable, it's a pump, a brush pump on it. The tag number on that is 3665. We're just gonna transfer that asset from Ponchatoula over to Husser.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion on that.
I'll second.
Who made that motion? Mr. Ingraffia, second by Mrs. Hyde. Roll call, please.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno? Mr. Richtel?
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew? Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes.
Motion passes and is so ordered. Make sure your mic's on. Independence Fire Matters. Ratification of approval of a part-time position.
Yes, same thing with this, and the chief submitted his paperwork. It's a 1 part-time position at $9 per hour.
I'll entertain a motion.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Vial, second by Mr. Wells. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bruno? Yes. Mr. Richtel?
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew? Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial? Yes. Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes. The motion passes and is so ordered. Hudson Fire Matters. Approval to purchase a tanker truck under state contract.
Yes, Husser was fortunate, and they were granted a FEMA grant of $312,000. The truck that they're wanting to purchase is from Siddons Martins. It's a Pierce truck. It's a Freightliner truck, and it is at the price of $332,019.61. It will take 15 to 16 months to get this truck in, but like I said, FEMA did grant them and award them a $312,000 grant.
Wow.
We need to
Very
do
good.
more of those.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Congrats to
the
them.
chairman entertain a motion.
Second here.
Motion by Mr. Ingraffia, second by Mr. Vial. Roll call.
Mr. Richtel?
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew? Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Motion passes and is so ordered. The Albany Fire Matters.
All right, same thing with this. We have an acting chief there. It's Acting Chief Donnie Starkey submitted the paperwork. It's one part-time position at $9 per hour.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Ridgel, second by Mr. Villar. Roll call.
Mr. Ridgel? Mr. Mayhew? Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Motion passes and so ordered. Item 7, ratification of approval of full-time positions from the Albany.
Same thing with this, except it's 2 full-time positions at $10 per hour.
So moved.
Mr. Richland made the motion. Mr. Bruno, second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Mayhew? Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno? Mr. Ridgel?
Yes.
Motion passes. Month reports and
They
registers.
should have been emailed to y'all and should have been sent to y'all.
Any questions? Review and approval of check register for the month of September.
Same thing.
Any questions? No questions? Administrators report.
All right, it's the introduction of prepared amended budget for the year ending December 31st,
Proposed.
2021.
Proposed budget.
It's the introduction of proposed amended budget for the year ending December 31st, 2021.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Dennis.
May God bless you and your families. I'm here tonight to go over the proposed budget that we put together for the year 2022, as well as the proposed amended budget for the current year we're in, 2021. I wanted to also introduce you to two of my younger accounting assistants. I have with me Ms. Crystal Waddell.
Hi, Ms. Whitehead.
I'm sorry, and Taylor Savasky, who's passing out some information. I think it's interesting to note that Ms. Taylor, on her free time, she races drag races. So if you get in front of her on the way home, you might be in trouble. But anyway. The purpose tonight is just to introduce the proposed budget so that the board can take it under advisement. We have to authorize the administrator to advertise a public hearing on the budget, which I anticipate would be at your next meeting in November. And then once you have the public hearing and there's a debate on the budget, you can adopt the budget for next year at the November meeting. And if it were to carry over until December, I guess that would be okay. But under state law, we have to adopt next year's budget before the end of this current year. A couple of highlights for y'all that I wanted to share. First of all, we have to advertise the proposed budget and wait 10 days before we have the public hearing. So I think if it's okay with the board tonight, we can have the advertisement sometime this week or next week at the latest and have the public hearing at the November meeting. That gives us plenty of time to meet the 10-day requirement. The budget amendment for the current year anticipates total revenues are up $144,000 over what we had last year. And 100% of that increase went to the fire departments. In the proposed budget for 2022, property taxes are expected to increase another $147,000. That also will go to the fire departments. The administrative budget in the proposed budget for 2022 is expected to increase $20,000 over what the amount is today. And the administrative cost as a percentage of the overall budget is approximately 4%. What you'll find back here is as you flip through the package, you'll find some color-coded sheets. The best way to use these is to try to work yourself from left to right. In the middle, where you have sort of a light orange color, is our best estimate of where we're going to end up this year, actual revenues and expenditures. What you see in the yellow is based on our proposed amended budget, which we'll be asking the board to take up at the next meeting and adopt. And in the green, which is to the far right, is the proposed budget for 2022. And again, what you'll notice is that our revenues were up. Our original budget for 2021 anticipated that the fire departments would be distributed $6,675,000. The budget amendment needs to be increased to $6.8 million. So there was more tax revenues that came in, and that was distributed down to the fire departments. And we're anticipating that the amount that will be distributed to the fire departments in the proposed budget of 2022 will be $6.9 million. So what you're looking at in roughly 2 years, the amount that's going to be distributed goes from $6.675 million to $6.9 million. The next one, which has a lot more information, is the administrative budget. Now, I think calling the administrative budget is a little bit misleading because over the years, this particular budget has assumed a lot of public safety functions. We have high water vehicles, we have other rescue equipment. Even as late as last meeting, I heard a conversation by the board about the possibility of purchasing from the administrative budget some portable generators, possibly on trailers that could be utilized in events like this. But the main thing, you can go down through it. We have, for the proposed budget for 2022, we've got salaries, we have accounting services and audit fees, we have legal fees, but we are proposing. The administrative fee has been the same for the last 2 years, and it's been difficult to make the budget balance, leaving the fee the same. So what we're proposing, subject to your approval, is that the administrative fee be increased from $285,000 to $305,000, which is a $20,000 increase. And if our budget is accurate, that will leave us at the end of 2022 with approximately $15,000 in the administrative account as an accumulated surplus. Yes? You said it was 4%. What has it been over the last? Well, you should have a sheet that was passed out which gives you the history of the administrative fee. And it's interesting to note, in 2014, our fee was $244,000. Our tax collections were only $5.7 million, so our fee was 4.26% of the total revenues. Fast forward 9 years, our property taxes next year are anticipated to be $7.2 million. Our fee is going to go up to $305,000, but the percentage is 4.26. So I can make a very good argument that as a percentage of revenues collected, the administrative fee has stayed the same for 9 years. So tonight, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, all I'm asking the board to do is to introduce 2 resolutions. One resolution would be for the amended budget for 2021. The second resolution,
Proposed.
by introducing them tonight, that'll allow us to take those resolutions up, and if you feel so moved, you can pass them at the next meeting. So.
Okay, the chair will entertain a motion for item 10 and 11 on the administrative report. So moved by Mrs. Hyde, second by Mr. Bruno. Roll call.
Mr. Vial,
Yes.
Ms. Hyde,
Yes.
Ms. Coates,
Yes.
Mr. Forrest,
Yes.
Mr. Ingraffia,
Yes.
Mr. Joseph,
Yes.
Mr. Bruno, Mr. Richtel,
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew, Mr. Wells.
Yes.
Motion passes and is so ordered. Item 12, approval to advertise for bid for fiscal agent for a period 1 January 22 through December 31, 2024.
Mr. President, I guess while I'm up here, I'll take that one too, if you like. First of all, your package that you see on the proposed budget, I will be emailing to all the fire chiefs tomorrow morning, so they'll see the same thing that you have seen. And if anybody wants to meet at my office and review it, I certainly will make myself available. Our fiscal agency contract ends December 31st of this year. Under state law, we're required to advertise for bids. I'm just seeking board approval to advertise for bids, which would be a 3-year contract from January 1st, 2022 through December 31st of 2024. And if so moved, Dennis Crocker and I will work on the bids. We'll send them out. We'll report back at the next meeting what the results of those bids were.
Okay, the chair will entertain a motion.
Can I ask a question?
So,
Dennis,
sure.
The agent that we have now, they don't want to renew it.
They're interested in renewing. I think there's a lot of services that they provide for us. I think we want to go through the process of soliciting bids, but at the end of the day, I think the board will have to look at all the various services that they provide for us and whether or not you want to change or not. This is just to see what the interest rate is in the marketplace right now that,
I just know it takes a lot. If you gotta change signature cards, checks, it's a major ordeal to do it, you know?
well, we have all the utility bills for the fire departments on automatic bank draft, which is wonderful for them as far as getting the bills paid on time, and it would be a monumental effort to make that change. But I still think the board wants to go through this process just to get a feel for what the market rates are
Yeah,
for
I
interest.
think that would be wise to do that.
As it being a professional service, if they come in and they're all close, can we still stay with the one?
It's
that
my
we feel
understanding,
comfortable with?
it's my understanding you can look at the products and services we're currently getting, and you're not necessarily obligated to accept someone who maybe
Not if
has a
it's
little bit lower
professional
interest rate.
service, no.
Yeah,
Okay. Chair will entertain a motion.
I so moved.
Motion by Mr. Bruno,
Second.
second by Mr. Forrest. Roll call, please.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Ridgeville?
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew? Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
The motion passes and is so ordered. Item 13, approval to hire administrative assistant.
Yes, sir. This has been a long time coming. We've been asking for an assistant for the last 5 years, and it's finally coming. I'd like to introduce to y'all that the committee had met. We did interview a person, and it's Nelda Ferrer. She is right here. So we did interview her. The committee was Ms. Hyde, Ms. Coates, Mr. Joseph. We did talk, and we felt comfortable bringing that recommendation to the board.
Dennis, for the purpose of those that's watching this on the internet, this is not a new position. I want people to understand.
Correct.
Christian handled the council secretary and Jenny.
Yes.
So we're just separating duties.
We just
All right, go
separated the
ahead.
duties. I mean, the money's already been going out towards the other two, and we're just gonna take that money and keep it in the fire district.
Well, are there any questions for Ms. Nelda?
So we're excited to have her.
Side of you there too.
I'm very excited to have
Part-time,
Nelda on
yes.
board. So she will be starting Wednesday, but she's sitting with Jill to kind of get her hand in, seeing how this is done.
I had the pleasure of sitting in on an interview, and she comes highly recommended, very knowledgeable, and has all the skills that this position requires and some. So I think she's a positive hire for fire department.
Do we need a motion for approval?
Mr. Vial,
Also move.
roll call, please.
Ms. Coates?
Yes.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes.
Mr. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Ridgeville?
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew? Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Vial?
Yes.
Ms. Hyde?
Yes.
And she will be sitting where Rhonda's sitting at.
Yes, she will. This is a part-time position. It's 24 hours a week. It's 8 hours a day, 3 days a week.
Okay, item 14, moving right along. You okay, Mr. Wells?
You know what? I didn't feel the day.
He was, you, th- yeah. All right, exactly a month ago today, it was at the day of the last meeting, Natalbany had gotten into an accident, and so much going on that day, I didn't bring it up to the board's attention. Fast forward to last week, Natalbany got into another accident, this time involving their 2 trucks. So, that's 3 trucks in 3 weeks it happened, that they have gotten into accidents. A couple meetings back, we had discussed about making it, doing defensive driving classes. And these classes are free, you just have to purchase the workbooks. And Some of the departments have done it. Ponchatoula, Laranja, Natalbany has one scheduled. It didn't come quick enough. And Hammond gets theirs done by the city of Hammond. All the other departments have not contacted this guy, and we've tried to make it numerous times, and I've even given the chiefs the opportunity to make their own schedule, to get with this guy, make the schedule. He's willing to come in on weekends to work with everybody. Like I said, it is a free class, but I believe everybody needs to take it. I mean, it's, you know, we have to be kind of proactive in trying to resolve some of the issues that we have and having all of these accidents that we've been having.
Dennis, I just have one question about the accidents that we've been having. After a person has an accident, are they being drug tested?
They are being drug tested, yes, sir,
So what is the time frame for the drug test?
immediate.
Okay, and that's what we've been doing with
Did
this.
that happen at the last accident?
It did happen at the last accident.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Okay.
they are being drug tested. You know, some of them could be avoided if, you know, with, you know, they proper training and maybe relaxing and maybe experience will show. But a lot of these accidents can be avoided.
Yeah.
Why are some of the departments not doing it?
I don't know.
I mean, I think
Mr.
this is
Vial.
something this needs to be done.
I would recommend to the board that, look, these are the fire district's trucks. Our insurance reflects on this. Our insurance just went up $50,000, if y'all remember. So I would recommend that any person, paid or volunteer, that drives a Fire District 2 vehicle has to show proof that they've attended this class. That's what I would recommend to the board.
How often do they have to attend this class?
At least once a year. At least once a year.
Where's the classes at?
They come to the station. They come
Yeah.
to the station
To offer the class.
to offer the class.
And how long does the class take?
8 hours. It's 8 hours. He comes, he is willing to work with all of the individual, because he knows the volunteers, they work. So he is willing to work with these people. He is from the insurance company through VFIS. He is I believe he's a retired fireman out of Baton Rouge, that he is VFIS's instructor, driver's training instructor. And that's
Okay.
the man's business.
We got it, Dennis. Dad, you got a question?
Yeah, I was just letting y'all know that the first part of it, we're doing ours in stages. It's 16 hours, you got 8 hours of classroom and 8 hours of drive time. Ours is scheduled, we're doing ours at the Episcopal Center parking lot. And once everybody's complete, we'll be sending ours.
We have
Okay.
an instructor in-house, a VFIS instructor in our department. Well, with us and aid board that we can share.
Okay.
So,
Well, my question is, if y'all got an instructor, why you haven't done it? This was done 6 months ago that we,
we just scheduled this last week.
They got,
that's what I'm saying.
Came up, yeah.
Why has it been, this was 6 months ago that we sent that notice out to get scheduled to do this driver training.
Yeah, we've had a lot going on with Katrina, not Katrina, but
Items.
with the storm and everything else. We've got properties insurance that I am putting forefront right now. Now that that is wrapped up, we are starting driver's courses.
Well, this is my personal feeling. One, I wanna know what the discipline was to these drivers that wrecked these trucks. Are they working the next day? Were they sent home? What is the discipline when those two trucks ran into one another? What was done to the two guys driving the truck?
It's,
One guy, I mean, Angie, it was one guy driving the truck, one was parked. He went to go around and sideswipe the other.
What was done to him?
It's still an investigation, we're still working on getting.
Donnie, what kind of investigation, if he's driving the truck and he rakes the side of the other truck, he should have been sent home right then. I mean, we're looking at, my understanding is about, what, $50,000 worth of damage on this truck?
it's about
And
40,000.
this guy's still allowed to be driving the truck? Now, we got 3 claims out with Natalbany right now. One of them is not our fault, the interstate claim, but it's a claim. We got the tick fault claim and we got that one. over $100,000, almost $200,000 in claims in less than a year.
The one in Tickfall that happened, we are, been going back and forth with the insurance company. It's probably gonna end up being somewhere around in the neighborhood of $70,000 damage to that truck.
And maybe a lawsuit.
And it's more than likely will involve a lawsuit, whereas the person that was struck, that hit the truck, their car was totaled and she was transported to the hospital.
Look, I got all the faith in the world in y'all. I put my trust in y'all because I know y'all know what you're doing. But something's gotta be done when these guys or kids or whatever wreck these trucks. They can't be allowed to drive these trucks and get back out there again. Because it's gonna get to the point, we're not gonna be able to pay for the insurance. We already coming out of the storm, we got damage to stations and all of that stuff, and now we're gonna throw another wreck into this thing. But I would hope y'all develop some kind of policy when these guys get in a wreck and it's their fault, not if it's not their fault. If it's their fault, they need to be pulled off that truck until your investigation is completed. I mean, I think that would only be, because at some point in time, the insurance company's gonna say, hey, this is enough. And then what are we gonna do? We're all trying to get more money for the departments, but if the insurance rates keep going up, we're just taking money out of the departments to give to the insurance company. But, I think we need to put a time limit on this training. I think it's been long enough to ask for them to do it on their own, and I think we need to say as soon as possible, I would say by the end of January, that would be 90 days, that these departments have to have this training done. At least we can give that to the insurance company and saying,
We're
look,
being proactive.
we're being proactive to try to stop this. That's just my thinking. I don't know what y'all wanna do. But I think it's been,
Definitely, we have to do something. And I think what Mr. Bruno was saying is to make it to where these departments would do it, and that they would have to provide proof that they have attended this class.
I mean, I agree. I think the defensive driving should be mandatory for all departments, for all the employees. And that can't be anything but a positive when you're dealing with the insurance company. That's what they want to know.
I think end of January is good, but I think you need to come here every meeting and update us
Give an
on who
update.
has gone through this and who has not, so we can start
The
having
instructor just
some other
emailed
dialogue.
me, in fact, he emailed me and I called him. He was just printing out Ponchatoula's certifications. He did tell me at that time that the Ptolemy just did schedule it that day. So, like I said, we have 4 departments that have said they are doing it.
Okay, all right, so here's where we are. I think we need to mandate that these fire departments take the defensive driving course. I don't know of any other major organization, Walmart, Shell, Entergy, the U.S. military, they all require you to have defensive driving. That's a no-brainer. So do we need to mandate that? Are you in favor of that? Of Dennis sending a memo to the fire department?
I'll make a motion that all departments complete the defensive driving class by January the 31st.
Okay.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Bruno, second Mr. Wells?
Yeah.
And second again by Mr. Villa. I think they're serious.
Comment?
Go ahead, Trent.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. You're saying it's 8 hours of driving for each person? Dale, is that 8 hours of class and 8 hours of?
It's roughly 16 hours. Once you take the 8-hour course, the classroom part is 8 hours, then you gotta go out and drive.
Justin, what did they just schedule for y'all? What did they just schedule? It's 2 days?
2 days.
But it's alternating weekends,
Yes, he's doing a Monday night and then a Wednesday night and then a Sunday.
Yeah.
Your question is 8 hours of driving for the class.
Yeah.
Per person?
not one
That's
person.
everybody in there.
Yeah,
Everybody in there, you go through.
it's an 8-hour class.
Course and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, I was about to say.
Hey, you might save somebody's life.
No, they ain't gotta go to Tennessee.
No. All right,
I mean, 8 hours,
You
that
know how
could be in
much
San
fuel
Antonio.
that's gonna cost us for everybody to drive around for 8
ready for
hours?
roll call.
Mr. Forrest?
Yes.
Mr. Ingraffia,
Yes.
Mr. Joseph,
Yes.
Mr. Bruno,
Yes.
Mr. Richtel.
Yes.
Mr. Mayhew, Mr. Wells.
Yes.
Mr. Vial,
Yes.
Ms. Hyde,
Yes.
Ms. Coates.
Yes.
Ms. Bruno's motion passes and it's so ordered.
Fix the problem until January. If I hire somebody in February, you still ain't required me to have him do this.
Then maybe it could be amended to where that person has,
Mandatory, a new employee, before he can drive, has to take
Make it, that's, okay.
maybe we
let's
can amend that.
Amend that, yeah. Carlo, you wanna amend that?
Well,
Okay.
didn't we-
Go ahead, Carlo.
Exactly.
For new employees.
Didn't we do that with the drainage district too? We required
Yes. Yeah.
everyone?
Yeah.
And look, maybe what you can do instead of letting a guy come down for one, employee for Hammond, maybe you can get 4 or 5 different
Yeah.
departments that's got a new hire.
You're good as long as you got an instructor, and everybody has an instructor. I'm an instructor, I can teach it, and it's as good as the guy from LSU, because I'm using the same curriculum.
Problem solved.
Oh, you an instructor? That's scary.
All right. Other 5 matters. The, ad valorem tax.
All right, so Mr. Jim Ryan
take
is
you up on that, Chief.
is normally here to introduce this. This is just to introduce the ad valorem tax that we have coming up, and this has to be read.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna go ahead and go.
Normally Jim would be here to read this, but he couldn't
Right.
make it tonight, so we're asking Dennis to do it.
And this is for one of the millages for
Cor-
renewal?
Yes,
Yeah.
When is that gonna be?
it will be in the
March.
March election.
Yes.
So it is the introduction for notice of consideration pursuant to LARS 42:19-1, notice of consideration of action regarding ad valorem tax. Notice is hereby given that Rural Fire Protection District Number 2 of the Parish of Tangipahoa, State of Louisiana, will meet on Monday, November 22nd, 2021, at 5:30 p.m. at the Tangipahoa Parish Courthouse Annex, 206 East Mulberry Street, Amite, Louisiana, at which time there will be consideration of action regarding calling an election for the renewal of the levy and collection of an existing ad valorem tax dedicated to improving, maintaining, and operating the district's fire protection facilities, for purchasing fire trucks and other firefighting equipment, paying the cost of obtaining water for fire protection purposes, including charges for fire hydrant rentals and service.
Okay, we fulfilled that requirement. And, would Jim be here at the next meeting?
Yes, he should be.
Okay. Any questions?
Do we have to make a motion?
There's
I
no
don't think
action
we should
taken,
have
it
to.
just
No,
has to be
just,
read.
just need to
But-
be read.
Go ahead, Bridget. Say again?
Donald Scaffidiel.
Chief Scaffadel.
Oh, I thought we did that last meeting. I did.
You did.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
Last meeting,
We did.
I'd like to,
last council meeting.
No, we did at the
The
council meeting.
okay,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
I knew his, yeah,
Yeah, but I appreciate that, Bridget.
okay.
Go ahead, Carlo.
we always,
Y'all in this thing. We always do a plaque or something when someone passes away. And I'd like to get Natal Benny to help us get a little information so we can do a little something to honor Donald and present it to his family here, hopefully in maybe the November meeting, Dennis, if we can get it done.
See what we can
And
do.
Look, I think they couldn't have left the fire department in better hands. I think these two guys have a long history with the department. I think they're gonna do an excellent job. You know, it's hard to grieve and do your job too, but they wasn't only just firemen, they were best of friends, and it really makes it hard. But
Yeah.
I know these guys are gonna keep the department together, and they're gonna do what it takes to make the department move forward. So I wish y'all the best of luck. Buddy and I and Joey are here if y'all need us for anything. And hey, don't hesitate. We're here to help y'all.
All right, Dennis, you get with the appropriate authority at the Nassau and come up with the plaque.
Yes.
the correct verbiage on the plaque.
We'll work something
And
out.
also, be responsible for inviting the family members here that night.
We will work something out.
Okay. Anything else?
Yes, I'd like, everyone to say a prayer for, one of the firefighters, Mr. Stanley Pelche and Susan, their son Eric is, on a vent and he's not doing very well. And, you know, he loves the fire department and stuff, so I'd like everyone to keep them in their in their prayers.
Will
Pray
do.
for
Sure.
Will do. Anyone else? Mr. Wells?
Mr. Chairman, since I let everybody know what I was thinking a little earlier, I'll go ahead and make that motion to adjourn this meeting.